aka Sydney MGTOW. Why do I do this to myself every time? Damn, camera getting all blurred up and shit. Here we go, that's better. All right, beautiful, loving it, loving it. Welcome guys, it is once again a gorgeous afternoon here in Sydney, Australia. And today I want to talk about Big Daddy Tyrone. Big Daddy Tyrone government and the distribution of wealth of men. Thanks for the thumbs up there. Guys, remember please, when you jump in the live stream, hit the thumbs up button. It really helps my channel get to the top of the list and it helps MGTOW to trend. I know CuckTube, YouTube, whatever you want to call it, and whatever other people call it, you are trying to stop us from having a voice, but we will not be stopped and we will not be silenced. So what do I mean by redistribution of wealth, other than the obvious of taking money from one person giving to another? Well, you know, it's not like you're just taking a biscuit from me and giving it to somebody else, right? It's far more sinister than that, and it's far more systematic. It's designed and enabled by the government to redistribute money from men to women. Now, when you ask even feminists that still harp on about the wage gap, if you say to them, oh, who owns more money overall, you know, of the two genders, I mean, sometimes they might argue that there's more than that, but that's when you know they're actually retarded. But if you say, out of the two genders, which gender earns the majority of the money in the Western world as a gross figure? Of course, it's men, right? We know that. It's not a fact that's you know, open for debate. It's just, it is what it is. Feminists and men even agree on that, which is quite weird because we usually never agree on anything. But then when you put to them that, and they still can't comprehend that there's a finite amount of money in the world. And when you have men earning the majority of money, that will mean, hey, Irish MGTOW, men are also going to earn, well, men are also going to pay the majority of taxes if men earn the majority of money. It's pretty basic economics. Now, then we look at social services. Now, there are hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars every year poured by governments into domestic violence awareness. Like an ad saying that violence against women, stop it at the start, is going to stop a man from abusing a woman if he's going to abuse them, right? But he doesn't. But they don't talk about the women that abuse men. But that's a topic for another day, right? But I just want to point out that the majority of money is spent on telling, in this area, is spent on men being told that they are violent abusers, right? So this is all the money the government's spending, and then you've got, you know, healthcare. You've got things like abortion services, which are, you know, in many instances are publicly funded. There's obviously different structures for different states and different countries, but you know, there's a lot of money, particularly through Planned Parenthood in the US. I know that millions and millions and millions of dollars are poured into that annually by the government for women to get abortions by choice. Men don't get any choice when it comes to reproduction after conception's happened. They basically just have to grin and bear it and pay. And this is where I'm going with this. So if a woman gets pregnant, right? I know that a woman and a man have to have sex together to get pregnant, typically, unless you're using some sort of artificial insemination measures, right? But let's just keep it basic for argument's sake right now. So if a woman and a man conceive a baby together, the man gets no choice in whether that conception results in a full-term pregnancy. But the woman has a choice. They've got government-funded abortion. They've got drugs that they can take to terminate that child, often on the PBS. And this isn't a pro-choice or you know, anti-choice discussion. That's not what I'm here for today. But they've got access to all of these government-funded methods of termination. They've got access to all of this advertising that tells men not to hit women. You've got all of these services for women that are homeless. You've got all of the, you know, the government's rushing to throw women at these people, like throw women at these people. Yeah, not exactly. The government's rushing to throw money at these women so that they can buy votes. because estrogen is a hormone that is found overwhelmingly in women. Yes, there are biological differences between men and women, and I'll probably get banned from YouTube for saying that, but it is what it is. I'll definitely be touching on that all total coaching. Guys, I've been talking with stand-up men over the last couple of days, and there is some next level shit that's going to go down, but you know, I'll get to that later in the video. So you've got all these services, you've got abortion services, you've got services for homeless women, even though they make up the majority of homeless people. You've got all of these single motherhood payments and pensions, and you've got all of these legal services that help mothers that have separated from the father when they're not working. You know, women in some places actually get paid lump sums to have a baby even when they're unemployed. They get unemployment benefits, they get single parenting benefits, they get tax breaks, they get, their employers are told, you have to keep this job open for this woman even if she leaves for 2 years to go and raise her child, right? And look, and that's fine as long as the options are open for both men and women, but they're not. But they're not, because Big Daddy Tyrone government is not telling employers, you have to keep this role open for a man for 2 years because he wants to go and look after his kid. But they are saying, you have to keep this role open for 2 years for this woman because they want to go and have a kid. Purely because she has a vagina and the other person has a penis. That's the only difference, literally. So our governments are sexist. Hey, what's up, CJ? All of our systems of control are sexist. And in fact, I'm gonna find this next emergency zone to pull over in, because I actually want to read something that I saw this morning. It was an article about cryptocurrency and the issues that the governments and the banks have with cryptocurrency. Hang on, let me just pull over here. This is actually really amazing. You guys are gonna love this. You guys are gonna love it. This is awesome. Where are we? Okay. This was on news.com.au today. The title of this article, and I have put this URL in the description of the video. Feel free to hit the thumbs up when you duck down there to find it. Central banks investigate digital currencies following Bitcoin boom. No statements, no accounts, no fees, and definitely no waiting. Talking about of course, all the upsides of cryptocurrency. Here we go. And a quote from this article. Governments are worried. Hang on. Head of the Cyber Academy at Edinburgh Napier University, Bill Buchanan, said this. Governments are worried that they won't be able to trace transactions of businesses and individuals because it all happens in this digital space. He told news.com.au about the recent Bitcoin boom that has sparked a flurry of investor activity. Banks are extremely worried because it's a completely disruptive force. The transaction is between you and me and doesn't actually involve any other intermediate party involved in that. Well, would you look at that? The government, Big Daddy Tyrone government, is afraid that he is not going to be able to control your money that he can then redistribute to the woman that you had a child with, or that you were married to, or that you were in a long-term relationship with for more than 6 months after you separate. He's worried he's not going to be able to take all of your money and all of your assets and give it to her. Because if he doesn't take your money, if he doesn't take your assets, if he doesn't go to the banks and tell them, hey, I'm Big Daddy Tyrone, you got to take that money out of that man's bank account and put it in that woman's bank account because she has a vagina, right? That's what Big Daddy Tyrone's afraid of. Because when Big Daddy Tyrone stops putting his hand in your wallet, starts putting his hand in your pocket into your little cookie jar and taking your shit out and giving it to a woman, right, when he can't do that anymore, guess what? Then Big Daddy Tyrone is going to dip into his pocket. Big Daddy Tyrone doesn't have any money in his pocket anymore. Because men said, fuck this, I'm out. They checked out of the system. They stepped out of the matrix. They stepped out of Big Daddy Tyrone's matrix. Men are now calling the shots. Men have got the crypto. Men have got the cash assets. Men are going off the grid. They're going solar. They've got the power packs. They're going fully sustainable. They're stepping away from the systems and control and saying, no more. I will not have the government dictate what I pay, when I pay, how I pay it, who I pay it to. Because we all know the only place Big Daddy Tyrone is going to tell us to pay our money to is him, so he can give it to the women, or the women directly. And if we don't pay it to the women directly, based on what they know about us, then Big Daddy Tyrone's going to throw in Big Daddy Tyrone's basement we call jail. Right? Men get put in jail for not paying alimony, which is to keep up a woman's lifestyle after they separate for up to 25, 30, 40 years sometimes. And they can come back and ask for more. I saw one story this morning, it'll make you sick, man. This man was accused of raping a woman falsely 25 years ago, 25, 26 years ago. And his wife stayed with him without divorcing for maybe another 2, 3. Of course, she was outside riding the carousel, but she was still legally married. And then she decided to divorce him. So this guy's been divorced for 22 years in fucking jail, rotting for something he did not do. In jail for something he did not do. And now he's out of jail because they found out that it was a false allegation. And he was locked up for a quarter of a fucking century for nothing because of a woman's lie. Big Daddy Tyrone shoved that man in his basement, threw away the key, and said, "You're gonna rot down there, motherfucker." And he did rot for 25 fucking years. And now he comes out and he gets given a paltry $4 million. And the woman is not held accountable for 1 cent of that. Big Daddy Tyrone takes men's tax dollars and then gives it to this man because he's forced to, because he fucked up and he got called out on it. Oh, now the wife from 22 years ago wants to come back and wants to renegotiate the terms of her leaving. Her leaving. It's not like he divorced her, she divorced him. Now she wants a slice of the pie. And guess what? Big Daddy Tyrone's gonna want a slice of the pie when he takes that cash out of that settlement. So Big Daddy Tyrone goes, I'm only giving you this paltry $4 million because I have to. But what I can do is I can go take half that back because that's Big Daddy Tyrone's tax money. Can you believe this bullshit? And now that hypergamous bitch wants to come back because she made a complete and utter failure of her life. And now she wants to come back and she wants to put her hands in the pocket. And Big Daddy Tyrone, this is the woman's hands, right? Big Daddy Tyrone goes, oh, don't worry, baby. I'm going to help you put that hand in that pocket. And then I'm gonna get his anus and I'm going to put my fist up through it. I'm going to put my fist all the way to the elbow. So Big Daddy Tyrone does to us men. And he does not give a fuck. So men are earning all the money, or the majority of the money. They're paying the majority of taxes, but they're getting the minority of services. They're getting the minority of benefits. They're getting the minority of child custody. They're getting the minority of their own fucking assets when Big Daddy Tyrone hands that shit over when the woman decides to leave. Those men are getting the minority of justice. They're getting the minority of fair treatment. After everything they did for Big Daddy Tyrone and after everything they did for the women in their lives, they get the minority. When they create the majority, they build the buildings these women are living in without money. Now, guys, look, I know that there's women out there, right? I have a couple of female friends and they don't take any child support. I mean, they probably will end up doing it because they're starting to struggle now, but they've been, separated for a couple of years. They don't ask for child support. They don't ask for money. It'll eventually happen. You watch, I guarantee it. They'll go to Big Daddy Tyrone, say they need a boost, and they'll get the cash, right? But their original intention is to not take that money. But those women, my friends, are the minority. Don't think for one moment that the person you marry or have kids with can't turn around and go stand beside Big Daddy Tyrone and say, Big Daddy Tyrone, can you take that house from me? And can you get him away from me, because I just want to hang out with my kids and I don't want his interference. I just want to do my own thing, and I want to be able to ride the carousel. I want to be able to have a new boyfriend. I don't want him to interfere, but I do want him to pay for his kids because he needs to man up and be responsible. We've manned up our whole fucking life and we get everything taken from us. Fuck you, Tyrone. You want to come after me with your big black fists? I'm gonna take you down. Because guess what? My crypto is going offshore. My crypto is hidden away. My assets are going in trust, baby. Big Daddy Tyrone, you think you're coming for my shit later on? Please. You don't know what's coming to you. Men are taking the power back, and they're taking it back through brains and strategy. They're not taking it back through emotion and manipulation. We're taking back the power, man. MGTOW is freedom. MGTOW is power. MGTOW 2018, baby. It's going to be a big fucking year. Now, what I was saying before about stand-up men, right? He got banned. He got banned because he told the cold, hard truth, and nobody wanted to hear it. The politically correct crowd didn't want to hear it. The women didn't want to hear it. The soy boys, the manginas, the white knights, they didn't want to hear it. CuckTube didn't want to hear it. Facebook didn't want to hear it. All these social justice warriors, they don't want to hear it. They just want Big Daddy Tyrone to pat them on the back and go, oh, it's okay, baby. Don't worry, Big Daddy Tyrone's got your back. If you've ever got problems, I'm just going to give you money from the men that worked for it. Fuck you guys. I know eventually my boss is going to find out about this and I'm eventually going to lose my job. I know eventually YouTube's going to pull me down. But men, this will not be in vain. Because there is nothing, absolutely nothing more important to me. Exactly, CJ, CuckTube. There's nothing more important to me than helping you men. There is nothing more important to me than spitting the truth right now. There is nothing more important than saving each and every single one of you from being fisted by Big Daddy Tyrone. There's nothing more important to me than having these gynocratic laws changed to make things fair and right and just again, so that men don't get torn away from their children, don't get torn away from their families, don't get socially isolated from their friends that turned around and white knighted and fucked their mate over just for the sake of making the woman who's crying feel good. You know, women, and this is something, Stand Up Man is bringing out an ebook very soon. Now this ebook is not going to be very expensive, but it will change your fucking life. I've read it, and it is just, it's like the Hiroshima of truth bombs. Except this time, even the cockroaches won't survive. Even Big Daddy Tyrone won't survive, because it gives you the knowledge and the power to fight back and to keep and to hold on to what's yours. Now, I guarantee you, men, that there are going to be huge changes and a huge power shift back in our favor. The pendulum is swinging back, baby. You better believe that shit. That's what's happening. And it doesn't matter if Big Daddy Tyrone likes it or not. Big Daddy Tyrone is only the master of a democratic country. And when men make up half that, and women who have men they love make up more than half of that, and when we've been lied to for so long by the major parties, and when there are parties now coming up that are fighting for our truth, that are fighting for fairness, that are fighting for rights for men and fathers and justice, and fighting to balance the system and fix these loopholes that are fucking us over. The power's coming back. Oh, and of course, with the whole push to get more women into university, we've got more women as lawyers. And guess what? Guess what university teaches women? Feminism. And we all know that third and fourth wave feminism is a fucking joke. Because women say, oh, we don't have all the rights that men have. Name me one. I want one woman out there watching this video to name one fucking right and research it and provide a link to me in the comments from a legislative website. I want proof. I don't want your bullshit. I don't want your leftist rhetoric. I want fucking facts and proof. Because that's how us men are winning. That's how us men are winning. With facts and proof. All you've had up until now is bullshit and dribble. But these feminist lawyers are in the feminist structured law courts defending feminists and taking everything from men. It ends very soon, my brothers. I can assure you. Social justice is losing traction. It is losing credibility. It is losing political influence because we are voting the people that support it out. The Greens in Australia are a fucking joke. Sarah Hanson-Young is the epitome of the Greens. She is the figurehead. She is the spearhead. She might not be the leader, but she is the person in that party that speaks for everybody in that party, that cannot keep their mouth shut. If you haven't seen my video on silence is power, go and read it, men. Silence is very powerful. And this woman does not know how to stay silent. And she has lost all of her power and all of her credibility. And she has fucked her own party over. Time and time again. And that is why they are losing traction at record rates. Because she did not remain silent. And neither did her compadres. They didn't tell people what they wanted to hear. They told people what the social justice warriors want to hear. Because the social justice warriors scream the loudest. And the loudest are usually the most full of shit. Anyway, man. That's all I wanted to talk about. But some big things coming from Stand Up Men. I'm going to be working with him, collaborating. I'm going to be doing some live streams with him. I'm going to be spitting some real fucking truth bombs your way. Right? Even if you duck weave, even if you got some Keanu Reeves level skills from the Matrix, you can't avoid that shit. You can't. And if anyone wants to reach out to me, sydneymgtow@gmail.com. Anyone anywhere in Australia, I'm hopefully going to be traveling later this year, so I'd love to catch up with you. Send me your contact details, share your story with me. If you've got some things you want me to talk about, drop me a line. Alternatively, I've got a Patreon, patreon.com/sydneymgtow. Men, my source of revenue is going to get removed by my job when they find out about this channel. I almost guarantee it. So please support me. I am going to be fighting until all of this is fixed, even if it takes me to my deathbed. I'm about to run out of signal and going into a tunnel, but I love you all, men. Thank you for tuning in. Stay powerful, stay MGTOW. Peace.